it is.
You can count on me. What about the philosopher's legacy?
I don't know anything about that. Who's there? You're the man from the CIA, but I'm afraid you're too late.
Too late? Don't tell me. The Shagohods.
Exactly. The final preparations for Phase 2 are complete. The Shagohod can achieve a land speed of over 300 miles per hour.
That monster can go more than 300 miles per hour?
Yes. And from this state of accelerated motion, it launches a nuclear missile.
So, the Shagohod acts like the first stage of a rocket.
Yes, precisely. The range of the missile launched by the Shagohod thus increases from 2,500 miles to 6,000 miles.
6,000 miles? That's enough to strike anywhere in the United States. We've still got a chance. All we have to do is destroy the prototype and the whole facility before they can mass produce it.
But
just tell me what I need to do to destroy this place.
all right. The liquid fuel used in the rocket engine is stored in a tank. If you can blow it up somehow. Some C3 ought to be enough to blow the entire hangar to smithereens. There was some in the armory here, but it's gone now. It was stolen by a female spy who was here a minute ago.
Eva?
No, that's not her name. Her name is Tatiana. She made her way in here by becoming Volgin's lover.
I thought she was your lover.
Mine? Oh, no. She is Volgin's lover.
Major, what are you doing here? I've been waiting for you in my room. Who are you? Don't play dumb with me. If you think you can fool me, you're sorely mistaken. I know the Major better than anyone else.
What is this fairy disguise? Stay out of this.
I see why they call you the boss. What was that? Some kind of judo?
No, it's called CQC, a basic form of close quarters combat. He and I developed it together.
Splendid. I'll take it from here.
Are you going to kill him?
Of course. But first, I will make him pay for hurting Ivan.
It's no use. He's not going to talk. He's been trained not to break. trained by me.
Admit it! We're after the location of the legacy! The secret fund established by the three great powers during the two world wars. That's what you're looking for, isn't it? $100 billion, divided up and hidden all over the world. And you're looking for a record of where all that money is hidden, right? No matter. The Philosopher's legacy is safely in my possession, in the underground vault of Groznygrad. You'll never live. What's this? A transmitter? Who's responsible for this?
I am. I planted it on him to keep track of his movements.
Why?
So the Cobras could ambush him.
If they knew where he was gonna be, they wouldn't have gotten themselves slaughtered. It pains me to do this, boss, but under the circumstances, I'm afraid I must ask you to show me some proof that you and he were not in collusion.
You don't trust me, is that it?
Not that, but he is your apprentice.
What do you want me to do?
Let's see. Cut out his eyes. I don't like those blue eyes of his. Ruin him, just as he did the Cobras.
Stop!
What is it, Tanya?
He's suffered enough.
Well, well. Why are you protecting him? I know that smell.
Stop it!
Taking a fancy tour, eh, Ocelot?
No, I have no interest in this woman. I want to test her.
There, satisfied now?
Well, that was refreshing. Come, we're going to my room.
Watching this has made me realize something. It's really not that bad. It's the ultimate form of expression.
Run!
I've prepared an escape route for us. Go out and head west. Pass underneath the connecting passageway and go north. You'll find an open manhole there.
You're...
Quiet! Go through the manhole down into the sewers. The door at the north end of the sewers is unlocked. You can use it to get outside the fortress. I've got your equipment. We'll meet up later.
Eva.
But I can't get too close to your cell. You'll have to figure a way out of there yourself. I'll be in touch.
legendary moment. Guys, you should just keep watching all this footage. That's how good it is.
This is where it ends. Snake!
What an epic scene that was. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the future of what I hope will be an amazing journey for myself. Kind of like a self-indulging concept to appreciate the series, hang out with the community, and hang out with some big names. I already set up a few people, but let's get into it. Let's talk about it. What is happening? What is going on? Well, Metal Gear Solid family. That is the theme. That is the concept. That is the movement. And guess what? If you love Metal Gear, your family also. This isn't an inclusive or exclusive. This is for all or for one. We are very happy to be able to offer this, and apologies. I know that we're having sounds take over me. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Officially starting the stream right now. As we move forward, you are watching cutscenes from Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. And we're going to go ahead and move along. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is Mag presenting Metal Gear Solid Family. This is somewhat of a show, a podcast, many different things planned for this setup. Today is the first official day of the pilot beta to announce a few things. I can't get into specific people that I'll be having, but there's some big names who've agreed to show up, creators, voice actors, and some community members also. So it's going to be a great time. There's a lot of special smaller things for the viewers that I will be doing also. It's not going to be a stereotypical sit down and interview only type of setup. There's going to be interaction. There's going to be, with the special guests, there's going to be some games playing with them. There's going to be tons of variety for everybody to experience with me. I'm just so excited to do this because, as everyone knows, Metal Gear is my favorite series. I've done a lot of variety of events and different things, but I've never done this specific thing. So gear up. It's going to be a long haul of guests who come through that you already know well, and then some community members that you might not know, but they have a lot to offer and a lot to provide as far as the Metal Gear series goes. So we're getting into all of that today. There's tons of special, how would I say, special people that we've had in our community, content creators, and just overall really great stuff. And I'm taking a second here to go right ahead and put up a video so we can take a quick look as I talk. So, Metal Gear Solid family. What is it all about? Well, you've always wanted to find somewhere to go to have yourself the talk about Metal Gear. And there's plenty of communities, as you see on my display. There's plenty of communities out there. Question is, have we united? And we will. Through this setup here, I'm looking to showcase all of the community also. It's a very important factor to me that we do this. This is not about one specific community or the other. I personally love everybody that loves Metal Gear. It's just a fun time. It's a good time to interact and chat with folks. So come through, come by, and enjoy with me, Mad Gamer, on Metal Gear Solid Family. That right there was just an ad. Somebody clipped that, 60 seconds or less. Clip that video. Thank you very much. But so that's the start of what's gonna happen. There's a bunch of different things I can't show right now, and a bunch of people I can't talk about. But overall, you're gonna just get a tons of Metal Gear content, whether it's gameplay stuff, whether it's discussions about the games by the creators and why they made this or what happened, different things like in that sort. Then there's the broader community concepts, themes, and content that they make, whether it's videos, some cosplay people. There's a lineup already right now that I'm sitting on, planning on dates and times to have these people come by and enjoy such a great time with us. So I expect everyone to reach out to their communities if you're a Metal Gear fan. And if you're not, guess what? This is for you also. I understand that it is a tough road for some, but Metal Gear's been such an amazing series for 30 plus years. And if you reach out to your community, let them know about what I got going on. Go to madgamer.com/ MGS Family plugin. You can get involved with what we're trying to do, and it'll be a really good time as far as trying to have some fun with it. What the heck, guys? Nobody told me that there was visuals playing in the background. All right, so we're gonna get into a little more visuals as we discuss a few things here. So, as you guys know, hold on. For some reason, the video is displaying my title. So, we're watching Snake Eater, but we want to discuss the series overall. And I do have a video up on YouTube that's pretty much a collection of all the cutscenes, some gameplay in between there, and just a general chat about all of it. And we're going to take a second here to continue to watch and talk about it. First of all, every single installment from Kojima, it was tied into so many different parts that you can get into, and it'll take a long time, and we'll separate this and create different sections to dissect them in the right way. So what I mean by that is that there's general fan thoughts and concepts, and then there's the actual Kojima evidence that we can present. Doing both is fine, but we want to try to put it in a way where everyone can relate, and those that are new to the series can also say, hey, you know, this is something I'm into. I want to get into this game and try it out. What is Metal Gear? First of all, you're just watching cutscenes, and these are spoiler heavy. But what is Metal Gear? The question is, what is gaming? If you ask what Metal Gear is. Metal Gear presents a very special concept that every game has deeper messages. It catches themes and concepts about life, about politics. It really does something special with gameplay, innovating throughout all the years, always creating new, innovative ways to interact with the game. From being the first original to have sound be a big factor back in the early 80s, mid 80s. That was a big deal game to listen to sound, and the enemies come check out what's the noise, and they'll come from off screen. This is a mechanic that today it's standard, but Metal Gear originated this back in the good old days, as some of us would say. I'm going to try and take a second here to switch up this audio, this visual for a second. So anyway, the game has so much fun, just general gameplay, and the stories are very, very special. A lot of people tend to stray away from Metal Gear because they feel like there's too deep and too much, and I don't want to be one of those people who captures this and then people feel like, oh well, this guy is getting too deep, too much. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what the series is about. That is the one thing that people do tend to try to feel with Metal Gear, but I believe that it's not okay. I think that we have to be smarter about presenting it in the proper way. So I'll have these deep thoughted guests. I already have like 4 planned that do like I do, and we dissect the game. And for example, what I done since 2001 was talk about the political side of the game. So the game references real life. Every release has touched on real life politics in a very direct, hardcore way. And for some reason, it's went over everybody's head, even the mainstream fans. It's gone over their heads big time, and I believe that for some reason my visuals are getting a little buggy. I believe that, you know, what I was presenting back in the day was the respect for Kojima's ability to be able to hide that in plain sight for everybody to see. And when I get into it within this show, it'll be very interesting as far as people's reactions to it. And once they learn certain things specifically that enhance the series on a different level. And apologies, I'm working on fixing visuals, guys. Life happens sometimes. And this is why I said this was going to be a pilot, as the visuals were perfectly fine before I started the stream, and then the stream trolled me. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm almost done. So we're going to get into that. We're going to make it simple. We're going to get into the core of this game. It's really, really fun, and it's simple. It's simple, okay? You can play this and just like a lot of people have, just have a really good time playing the game. And you don't have to get into the deeper stuff that us madmen do. And that's perfectly fine, and we accept you, and we want you to be a part of this. And we're not going to always dive deep into the hardcore theories and concepts and political side. There's a bunch of quirky, funny, crazy. This is what makes Metal Gear so great. And we'll take a visual here so you guys can see some of it for yourselves. What makes Metal Gear great, in my opinion, is a big part of it is being able to be quirky and be fun and be different. Unlike a lot of the series that we've had in these years. Hold on a second. Ladies and gentlemen, more and more technical difficulties. There we go. We got the visuals, baby. We're back. So one thing that makes Metal Gear so great, and apologies for the setup, is that it's a realistic military sneaking game with some action if you want it to be that way. You have the option to go stealth, and you can go guns blazing. If you go guns blazing, it's challenging, very difficult. It's not as rewarding, but it's still a lot of fun. And that's the natural, general consensus of the game. But it has the very fun and silly moments that are just either I mean, I can put on lists for you, but it's very different than any other game, and that's what makes it so fun. And you take a lot of movies now that are trying to do this, like superhero movies. They have very tense moments, and then they have a quick, funny moment, just like the Avengers, what we just saw recently, the new game movie, Endgame. There's a lot of funny moments between the intense moments, and Metal Gear's been doing this from day one, since the beginning of time, and that's what, in my opinion, makes it so special. I'm gonna move this mic just a little bit. That's what makes it so special to me. Those feelings, knowing how to get that comical relief and just fun gameplay, pacing as well. We're watching some cutscenes for a game that's very old and still holds up pretty well compared to most of the games in the world today, as far as just visually and gameplay wise. It's still a really good time. It's still a lot of fun. And this is the ending, so spoiler alert. But you're watching skipped scenes that I have already placed here. Just pretty much every cutscene in the game. I might have missed a few, but this is a very old footage. Like 2 years ago, I made this. That being said, MGS3 has the first game that I have on this video. It goes by chronological order, and it explains the beginning of Big Boss, which is the main character, and he kind of is the overhaul powerhouse heroic figure throughout the series. Even though you play as three characters in total, four characters. You play as 4 different characters within the series at the moment, and Big Boss is the originator, and the story of him being betrayed by his mentor, person he loved dearly, the one who raised him. It's really a difficult, beautiful story. If you watch it carefully, there's a bigger message behind it. So I'm not really spoiling the true ending, but it is beautiful, and that's where, when the show kicks off, we'll have special guests that have created parts of the game. We'll have the voice actors who played the role of these characters, and we're gonna get into some fun things. Not just, so how did you like the role? And we want to just do some different things with being able to present it for the community and go from there. But that being said, the series has really amazing storylines, and they're all separate, but they combine together, except for, I would say, part 4. I wouldn't know how someone new would receive that game, and there's been people who've told me, I played part 4 and I was so amazing, and I was very confused, because while the game is great, for someone who's never played all of the series to play part 4 for the first time, it's a mind-blowing experience, because part 4 pretty much is a reference book. It's pretty much a fan service provider for all these fans who begged for another game, who begged to see, Raiden again, who begged to see Meryl, who begged to see, spoiler alert, who's begged to see all of these great characters. They really wanted to experience that, rightfully so. And Kojima and Konami gave it to him 120%. But if you're new to the series and they're showing all these flashbacks to all of the games before that, I wonder that experience. And we'll have someone on who went through that experience and see what they got to say when they come by. There's people lined up that I have that are really great members of the community, and I just wonder their opinions on certain things. So we're going to have open forums. We're going to have great discussions about all of it. in the near future. And right now, speaking of open forums, guys, I'm trying to sort out this YouTube thing. I'm gonna do it live in front of you guys since we're going raw. Since we're going raw, well, I guess we'll keep it as raw as possible so you guys can be a part of it. So it seems like 700. 5. Interesting. That's interesting. Interesting, guys. Something's going on here. We have to sort this out. Let's take a visual break here so you guys can see me. And what I'm trying to do is figure out the visual on this specific side here. And I don't understand why it would be so drastic. Anyway, I do apologize. Like I said before I started this is the beta. Okay. It's a bit confusing on what is happening. We'll work on that later. It's perfectly fine. I mean, we'll survive, right? Everybody will survive. Sure. Still looks good. It's just a small hiccup within the visuals of what I'm trying to do here, and I'll get it right at some point. Anyway, back to the topics. So we're gonna get into all of it in a certain way. So there's gonna be different sections to the show. Some is gonna be the special guest section. Then there's gonna be the community section, and then there's going to be, well, in between that, there's a special section that we'll talk about. There's those three, and then comes gameplay and good times, hanging out, playing games, just still talking, still interacting, and just enjoying. There's going to be a bunch of stuff for the community, as far as challenges for giveaways and different things that we'll do, but it has to be live on the show. So I expect everyone to get involved and be a part of this as we go forward. And we are good. I have to figure out why my YouTube has decided to abandon me. And even my duel. Something's up. That's not it. Sorry about that. Oh, all this time, guys, I thought I had it wrong, and actually everything was perfect. Wow. Everything was perfect. It was all my fault. Take out 200. Negative. There we go. Alright, we're almost back to normal, folks. almost back to normal. Clearly, I created an error. Now I have to fix it. Hmm. Almost there, folks. Almost there. After this, I'll calm down and be a normal streamer. Alright. We are close to being back. The top is good. Not sure about the left. On the left. Top is good. The right is good. The bottom is good. We made it. We finally made it, folks. Back to normal. And we're watching some of the amazing cutscenes here with no audio. I do apologize about that, but I had to work on some visual parts to make sure everything is fine. Everything is fine. And still working on some stuff. And we are good, folks. Yes! So, just a breakdown of this right here. Possibly the most iconic scene as far as impact goes. You spent the first 3 games hearing about Big Boss, hearing about everything he's done. Well, 4 games, 5 games. 1, 2, 3, 4. Apologies. 4 games. The first 2, and then the 2 PlayStation ones, Metal Gear Solids. Hearing about Big Boss, dealing with Big Boss, or fighting Big Boss, or just overall every single thing, and then you get into this game and you're finally Big Boss. On the 5th game, you get to play as Big Boss. And what it does is tells you the story of how he became who he did. And it opens the door to realizing that everything isn't what it seems. A lot of core aspects about the series is deception from various people, whether it's the people that are with you or the people that are against you. All of that plays a huge role in the series. And here, finally realize why your name became Big Boss through the game. And then it also breaks down why supposedly Big Boss was the bad guy, why, you know, he was evil and all this stuff that the world created to put you in this mindset like, oh, he's evil, he's bad, and this is bad, and you know, all of those things are brought to us because of this moment here, because of what happens in this story and breaks it down. All of it. So I love it, I love it, and I love it. And I think that we have an amazing series and the start of the series originally as far as chronological order, apologies, is right here with this amazing part. I don't want to get into showcasing all of this here, so I'm going to switch over for a second. And we're going to fast forward. And we're moving on all the way past Peace Walker to get into some Ground Zeroes for a second. And with Ground Zeroes, just to talk about the political side, which I said I wasn't going to do. And then here I am. Just to address the elephant in the room. First of all, Ground Zeroes, just like every single One of them, as I explained before, they have a direct line to what political issues that are going on. And Guantanamo Bay, aka Omega Camp over here, talked about these real life issues that happen in real life. There were concentration camps torturing people, women, men, young people, sexually assaulting them. All of these things are very real in real life. And what happened was this game spoke on it and really got deep into it. This game is called Metal Gear Solid V Ground Zeroes, and it really opens the door to the political side of Metal Gear. And this isn't the only game. Every game did this, and they discuss different relatable things that are happening in society right now. And that is a powerful thing for me, someone who, as a young kid, wasn't thinking of any political statements, didn't care about anything. I loved Metal Gear, but I wasn't into it. Part 2 in 2001 blew my mind enough to make me really start investigating into it in a deeper level. And then now there's 2 levels to Metal Gear of what I really am passionate about. Well, there's many levels, but some of the personal real life messages and the things that these characters go through, I've been through personally in my life. It's like, how could you have gone through fighting a Metal Gear? And not in that way, but other things like their father, Big Boss, being the bad guy, and so many things that are really deep and kind of are a mirror of my life. Very powerful, and that's why I love it. But then came this political side where the power is immense. I can start with part 1, Metal Gear Solid specifically, and the times that we were in, and then the concept of that game and all the things that were going on from part 2, going into Control, and in 2001, September 11th happened, and the government created the Patriot Act, which is crazy that they named it that. The Patriot Act, that is wild that they named it that. The Patriot Act was created to allow the government to monitor anybody in the world because of the attacks in 9/11. So that was a key factor in just a mind-blowing thing. I'm from New York City. The 9/11 attacks hurt my heart. Still hurt my heart. And then what happened was Kojima's message opened the door for me to check into the government, and now they got a Patriot Act to monitor anybody, supposedly for just in case if you're a terrorist. They can tap your phone, they can tap into whatever they got to monitor you in any way. And these are sick things that people are allowed to do, and most of us are not aware. We don't care. And imagine a video game opening your mind to this. So then it goes that. Then part 3 came out, and you look at in part 3, who is still president is the question. And part 4, who was? Wait a minute. Who was? And what was going on with that? So I'm sorry about that. I have to check this quick text. In part 4, we already know who was still government and who was still running things, and it was the father and the son Bushes and all the stuff they were doing, and finding out that the senior Bush was in line with Saddam Hussein, and Saddam Hussein was supposedly one of the terrorists, and how could he be working with him if he's supposedly a terrorist? And there was all this controversy, and the same thing with part 3, which we just saw, the betrayal and the deceiving to make her look like the bad guy. Is she really the bad guy? Who's the bad guy? And it's just a lot of concepts within the game that touch on real life. So this is where like the divide of people and things as far as Metal Gear goes. It's people who just like the gameplay, like having fun, and it's a really cool game. People who got into the story and it's, oh, that's amazing. There's people who are into the political side like I was, and that was something I used to write a lot about. Then there's people who are into theories of concepts of, oh, what is the deeper meaning behind this? And then there's people who just love the lore in general, stick to the lore, and play that. Turn off my AC. So let's see. So for me, I personally appreciate all of it. I think that as a fan, you can get so much out of each game. And message wise, theme wise, personally, then there's the political sides of deeper concepts in there and referencing real life issues at the moment through these games. And there's just a huge amount of amazing content on every side. And some of it is done on purpose, some of it is accidental, but overall, the game really gives us greatness. And we gotta be grateful for that. Let's do this dual look. So what you're looking at here, this is it's more of an in-game concept here. Fox Hound, Fox Unit was the original Metal Gear, battling for the big boss eras. Then they had this new unit that's coming out to erase the pirates. Let's take out these pirates. And that's where you look at it when Skull is saying that in the scene right before he gets on the helicopter that he did. He's talking about Fox Hound, Fox Unit. And he considers himself the real deal. And he does all the dirty work for Big Boss and for, Zero. So it's a very interesting concept as far as story goes and its own thing. And this game supposedly was the smallest, and I don't disagree as far as everything. I can beat this story, the main story part, in less than 10 minutes, and we'll do that one day. But overall, you get just sheer amazingness from this small package of a preview, pretty much prologue for the game, the massive game. And actually, I think it was needed, to be honest with you. When I played The Phantom Pain, after playing every Metal Gear game hundreds of times, I have platinumed every Metal Gear game. Well, not every Metal Gear game, apologies. All of the 7 games that Kojima story-wise put together. So we're going to take a second and so I can showcase it.